got this new product in the other day called Bister, and it comes from the Netherlands. It's some kind of wood stain, and unfortunately everything I found on the internet about it was in Dutch. So I'm experimenting. Have no idea what this stuff is going to do. Don't know if it works with gesso or not. So we are going to find out. So I'm starting by stenciling on some white gesso. I'm using just some old plaid stencil I had. And just dabbing it on with a dollar store sponge. Now I'm using clear gesso and a Tim Holtz stencil, the Harlequin one. Now I'm using a Wendy Vecchi stencil, I believe it's called Ads. And I'm using embossing paste, just scraping it on. And I'm going to follow that up with the same stencil, but I'm going to use some fiber paste. It looks the same to me. I assume there's some kind of chopped up paper or cotton or something in there. It went on just the same, but I got a little overzealous, so I'm going to scrape off some. And now I'm going to use StazOn ink. I couldn't understand what they were saying in the videos, but I could read StazOn, so I figured if that's what they were using, there might be a reason. I'm also using some clear Tim Holtz stamps I found at Michael's. Quite frankly, I don't know why they use StazOn. I hated it. I got very uneven ink coverage, and my stamp would actually stick to the page and I'd have to peel it off. Other than it being waterproof, I really couldn't see the purpose. So very shortly now I should be switching to my archival ink because this StazOn was just the pits. Plus the fact that once it's on your stamps, if you want to get it off, forget it. So here comes the archival. And I'm just going to put a little butterfly somewhere. There we go. It went on smooth, quick, it dried. It was beautiful and solid color. So now I'm going to pull a text stamp that's from 7 Gypsies. I got it at Tuesday Morning. That's a cool place when you're looking for cheap junk. So I'm just putting it on randomly here and there. And now for Bister. So Bister is a fine powder, similar to embossing powder. And you just dip a paintbrush into it and flick it onto your page. And since it is so fine, you really can't see it very well in the video. In fact, you can't see it at all in the video, and you don't see it that much in real life either. But basically, I'm putting every single color on here because I want to get an idea of, you know, what everything looks like. And it was quite fun, really. You just flick it on randomly. Every now and then I would actually brush it on to see if that made a difference. And you just slap it on there. I was really getting excited to see how this came out. The jars were horrible to open though with my fingers. But now they're loose, so I shouldn't have any more problems. See, it looks sort of like, well, that's natural. Natural's a little chunkier than the others. I don't know why. It looked more like walnut crystals than it did like the rest of the stuff. Okay, now I'm going to take my spray bottle, and I'm spraying from a distance so because this stuff is so fine, I didn't want to blow it all over the desk. And now you can see how it just explodes into color. And I was a little too chintzy with it, so now I'm adding in some more. And eventually I'm going to put some black on that bottom left corner just to see what the black looked like. I use some red and some blue, and now we're going to spray it again, and you can see more color coming out. And then you just move it around, let it drip, and dab off some of the excess. Now that I've dried it, I'm going to add a little bit more to see how it layers, if it gives you that layered effect with the different colors. I think I'm adding more blue. I'm probably going to have to buy more blue. Now spray it some more. Now dab up all that water. And then just let it run all over the place. And I'm going to get that metal tray out of the way. It's driving me nuts. And now we're going to get some of that excess water off. Plus it helps the colors to swirl into each other. And we're going to dry it really well. I don't know why I didn't cut this part out. Okay, now I'm taking a wet brush. I wanted to see if it was permanent once dried. And it seems that if you hit any undissolved crystals on your paper, you can pull out more color. But any color that's actually dry doesn't move. So that's good to know. And you can see how the white gesso resisted the most. The clear, not so much. And it would kind of surprise me. The regular embossing paste absorbed color, where the fiber paste mostly just pooled it around the edges. And now I'm just going to stamp it with the name Bister. And there we are.